My parents are from Panama. Sadly, immigrants and their families are frowned upon by some people who think they do not contribute to our society. But I have served my country and worked tirelessly to protect our freedom for over 20 years. And when I retire, I am determined to continue to work for the greater good. Thankfully, God has blessed me with the strength and ambition to continue on this journey, as it hasn't been easy. My greatest challenge came 9 months ago with the sudden loss of my beautiful 15-month-old son, Wakilo. It was my daughter who named him Wakilo. My husband is in the Army, and we were both stationed in Hawaii when he was born. We came to know later that Wakilo means stargazer. We are all on journeys and look to identify our North Star. I have mine. His name is Wakilo, and I aim to make my stargazer and my beautiful daughter, Melicia, proud.
I did 5 rounds of IVF. I got pregnant 3 times. I had 3 miscarriages. And then I adopted my 2 children. No one wanted to talk about any of this, so I started to talk about it loudly. 12 years ago, I founded helpusadopt.org. 80% of those adopting are failed infertility patients.
Imagine you are watching your cash draining on your monthly reports, waiting on clients' payment that are overdue to make your next payroll. Imagine your major project gets delayed and you're so small and don't have many other projects to rely on. There are no financial resources to support you. Okay, now feel your heartbeat. It's moving faster, right? That's the journey of a disadvantaged new small business. Imagine praying in private, hoping that a potential client judges you on your qualifications and skills, not your gender, race, or sexual orientation, because you have been discriminated against before. The only way to keep breaking through the walls of fear is to keep on believing in yourself, in your community, keep moving forward, solving problems, making decisions, and seek the support that may be available to you. This is why we're all here.
When I was 5 years old, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. The doctors told my family that I had 2 weeks left to live. Miraculously, with prayers, my tumor went from a stage 4 to benign in a matter of days. But I needed surgery. After my surgery, I could not walk, talk, sit, or hold my head up. At only 5 years old, I knew this was not how I wanted to live the rest of my life. I was determined. Every day, I went for physical and occupational therapy. The doctors thought I would never be able to function again. But I proved them wrong.
Our packs were weighted down with gear. Our feet were bruised and blistered. Our water was frozen. We were so close to being home. But my legs seized up. I slowed down, and eventually the group passed me. When I finished the hike and finally walked into our classroom, the other Marines were all waiting. The IOC director looked at me in silence and then informed me that he was dropping me from the course for falling behind during the hike. Sitting on my bed in my barracks room that night, feeling defeated, I couldn't help but cry. Then, my dad sent me a text. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong woman stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the woman who is actually in the arena. I read the whole quote with his added pronoun modifications and smiled through my tears. He was right. It's not about the spectators on the sidelines. It's about the woman daring greatly, stepping outside of her comfort zone, walking through the fire. Life and my dad have taught me that courageous acts in and of themselves are the greatest achievements.
When my little girl came into this world, it birthed two lives, hers and a new one for myself. As a single mother, aggressively fighting my tormentor in court, people didn't expect much of me. This was the motivation that I needed to prove everyone wrong and show the world that I would not be defined by what I went through. I competed in moot courts to represent my school, passed the Philippine bar exams, began to practice law, and built an art career. With the help of other women, I climbed back up. Now, I help those who went through what I did. As a lawyer, I take their cases pro bono. And as a human being, I listen and assure them that there is a life beyond abuse. But I advocate for respect in our daily lives. I live in a patriarchal country. More than once, I was ordered to come to court in a skirt before a male judge. I was brought to meetings to engage clients as an accessory. I made it stop, and I urge my colleagues to do the same. Everyone must know we are not weak, and we can never let the lies or behaviors of others doubt our truth.
I've been inspired to reimagine the way I support change for girls and women like me. Inspired by my dad and also my grandmother, a young widowed immigrant who started a boarding house for migrant farm workers, and my mother, who started a daycare center to make ends meet while my dad was away. I'm feeling a strong pull toward entrepreneurship for women of color, immigrants, and those impacted by the justice system. Entrepreneurship leverages our strengths, builds our collective power, and allows us to write our own story. I'm reclaiming mine.
I believe that stereotypes are motivation to push us out from our comfort zones. No one likes to be placed in a box and labeled like everyone else. I'm an Orthodox Jewish woman who lives in a community where the norm is to focus on marriage at my age. Together, my friend and I created a gap year program where young religious girls can develop themselves personally and professionally. Our program, the Jean Schottenstein-Oria Institute, assists them in finding themselves through travel, charity, and self-discovery opportunities. As a 21-year-old single Orthodox woman, I strive to be a role model. Women in my community saw me, passionate to make a difference, and knew that they could be just as strong. My dream is that women find the strength and the tools to break through their limitations and follow their hearts.
I have learned one thing for certain, though. Creating access for education and equitable discourse is paramount. As a tutor, teaching English as a second language, and a mentor with LGBTQ+ youth, I know that the destination is never the same distance away for any two people. But if we champion intersectionality, we can create infinite seats at the table.